Hey guys, Bethany here. Hope you're doing good. So today I'm going to talk about eyebrows, and I'm going to just share for a few minutes about just kind of basic upkeep, shaping, and those kinds of things, plucking versus waxing, what tools you need, all of that. And then I will go on to show you a couple videos that I filmed yesterday of how to kind of get them shaped like this, and also just kind of my normal routine upkeep. So if you're interested, please keep on watching. Alright, so I want to start off by showing you a few pictures just for fun of what my brows used to look like. So I kind of went through and found some old pictures from, let's see, I think the oldest was 2004, I want to say, so I was probably like 15 at the time. So you could see that, and then there'll be a few more for the next years up until like, I think I picked till like 2009 or something, when I really started, being on YouTube more, and then you could see what my brows really looked like then. So go ahead and see that. As you can see, when I was younger, my brows were pretty crazy. Lots of stuff going on, and it's funny because now I notice that some people have those kinds of brows, like models and stuff, with like all the hairs and just really grown out and not really kept up at all, which I guess sure, that's fine for some people, but I'm just not. I just like it when they're a little cleaned up looking. I'm not into really thin brows, but I do like them to be at least somewhat sculpted. So right now they're kind of at a thinner point, I guess. I was kind of growing them out, but then I kind of shaped them up yesterday to kind of show you guys how to do that. For me, my brows obviously are pretty dark, and this is my natural hair color. I don't know how that happened, but it did. So I really have to keep up on them because they're just, the hairs, when they grow in, they're just so dark, and so I probably have to pluck, I would say, about 2 times a week or so. I definitely like plucking the best. I've gotten them waxed before. See if I can talk here. And whenever that happens, I always get a bunch of little bumps, and like, I don't know if it's clogged pores or what, and it's somewhat painful, and it really isn't that much better. Like, it kind of gave me an idea of, okay, my brows can look like this, I can shape them like this, so, it might be a good idea to get them waxed once by somebody that's really good, that knows what they're doing. But other than that, like, I find that plucking is just fine for me. I like to be able to be in control of that. So, alright, so then kind of just the tools that you'll need. Obviously, a good pair of tweezers. These are the ones that I have. These are actually from Avon, and I've had them for probably a few years. They work great for me. The ones that I had before were also from Avon. They worked great for quite a few years. So you can definitely just kind of try different ones out. Tweezermen, I've used those before. They really didn't work for me. They were really sharp too, which was kind of scary. But I've heard that the Revlon ones are pretty good as well, so you can look into those. Then you'll need a spoolie of some kind. This is what a spoolie is. This is just one that came with this. I bought these scissors from Revlon, which you'll also need if you want to trim your brows, but this came with it. You can also just clean off an old mascara wand. That works great. I used one of those for years. So yeah, so I just showed you the scissors. These are really good from Revlon. Good price. And then brow gel of some kind if you really have kind of crazy brows, you need to tame them down. I use the Prestige Brow Perfection right now. I also really like the Ardell Brow Enhancing. I think it's something like that, so this is good. And then if you do need to fill in your brows, I don't really recommend that unless they're like pretty sparse. It really just depends on what you like. I don't like to fill in my brows. I don't really need to though, so it's just really up to you. But I personally like to use a powder. This is just a MAC satin eyeshadow, but you can also use like an actual brow powder, which sometimes they tend to last longer, or a pencil, which you have to be really careful with. There's also, now they have like these brow tints or stains. They're kind of more of a really light liquid, like the lip stains. I think, let's see, Anastasia they're like all brow products, and they sell those, which I've heard are really good as well. So you can totally check those out if you need something like that. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about how to figure out your shape, or how you want to shape your eyebrows. If you're kind of like, virgin, like never really done this before, just kind of like, okay, I'm going to start doing my brows, or just need help really doing it well, or whatever it may be. If you want to figure out how kind of thick or thin you want them to be, this is kind of like probably almost the thinnest that I would go personally. I like to have them a little bit thicker. That's just me. It's for my facial, you know, my face, my eyes, like that kind of stuff. You just kind of look at it, just be like, I don't know. And I mean, the great thing about brows is that they, well, usually grow out. So if you get them a little bit too thin, you can always try just growing them out a bit. Really pay attention as you're plucking and shaping that you don't get too thin, because it's really easy to just kind of go, oh, back and forth, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're so thin. Like, so just pay attention and be aware of that. Next thing is, I kind of already said that, but follow your natural shape. You know, not everybody is going to have a huge arch in their brow. Not everybody is going to have no arch. I mean, people have got just different brows. Sometimes one brow will look different than the other one. So it's just really just keeping that natural shape, but cleaning it up is really what I'm all about and what I'll kind of be showing you today. So something that you've probably heard if you've watched any kind of makeup thing or read anything is about like using a pencil, or maybe you can use your spoolie or a eyeshadow brush to kind of figure out, like holding it up to your nose, holding it across your pupil, and then to the end of your eye to kind of figure out your beginning, your arch, and your end. The beginning and end part are fine. The arch part is really difficult. I don't think that really is important to use this for, because your arch should naturally be there. You should be able to see it if you have one, because you might not really have an arch, and that's fine too. So don't go by that too much, but you really want just kind of your arch point to be the spot where it kind of gets a little bit thinner and then goes out from there, you know, if you do have that arch, like I said. So the ending point is also kind of optional. If you want it to be a little bit longer, that's fine. I mean, obviously you don't want it to go all the way out here if your brows go that far, or you don't want this part to go all the way in here, hopefully, but you know, it's just kind of up to you. If you have like closer set eyes like me, you may want to extend it a little further. You may want this to come in slightly. That'll help with that, just kind of giving the illusion of wider set eyes, and vice versa. If you have wider set eyes, you might want to bring this in a little bit more and bring this in a little bit more. So it's just kind of like just playing with it and seeing what you like, what looks good. So a really awesome way to help you if you're just starting out, or even just to kind of get a new shape of your brows, is to use a white eyeliner pencil and to literally draw, and I'm talking about underneath. The top you shouldn't really have to worry about too much, but to draw the line of what you want your brows to look like, the shape that you want, and then just going and plucking the hairs that have the pencil on them. I've done that before. It worked pretty well, so just, you know, feel free to try that out as well. Also, another trick that I found is that while I'm plucking, a really good way to kind of see, like, oh, I don't know if I should get this hair or not, like if it's going to mess up my shape or if that's going to help, is to kind of pull it down a little bit. Like, don't pull it out, but just kind of pull it down, and you'll be able to see, oh, okay, that's what it looked like without it. That might be just a really no-brainer, but I use that trick all the time and it really helps me, so I thought I'd throw it out there. Alright, so the last thing I'll just mention that I'm going to show you at the end of the video is trimming, and then gel, using a gel. So trimming my brows just really consists of, you know, I do that maybe once a month, if that. I honestly don't really do it a lot, because, you know, if you trim too much, your brows are going to look thinner, because you don't have all that extra hair to kind of brush over. So that's why I like the gel, because I can kind of control the brows while, you know, keeping them thick. Alright guys, so that's all the information that I have for you. Please let me know if you have questions about anything, and keep on watching if you're interested to see my normal kind of upkeep, and I'll kind of speed that up for you so you can see what I usually do to just kind of clean them up. And then after that, I'll show you kind of an extra little shaping tidbit of just kind of how to get a little bit different shape. I kind of went from where there's like the straight line here and then it goes to the arch, kind of like, not really tadpole, because I don't like tadpole brows, but it's just kind of a little line, then arch, to kind of more, what I have now is more of just kind of a straight across brow. So I don't know if that makes sense at all, but you'll kind of see the difference of, you know, when you see the next clip of my brows yesterday before I plucked them, you know, you can kind of see what that looks like, and if you're interested to get that shape, then you'll see how. And then after that, I'll show you just a little bit of trimming and how to apply the gel. Pencil and powder stain, all that kind of stuff. I'm not really going to show you in this video. I may in the future, but it's really pretty simple. I mean, it's just filling in any gaps you may have, being very light-handed, and always get a powder color or a pencil color that is lighter than your eyebrows, at least 2 shades lighter. And just, I mean, experiment, but yeah, I made the mistake the first time of getting a powder that was the same color as my eyebrows. Oh goodness, way too dark. So just a little tip for you. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and enjoy! Alright guys, I am not usually a voice recorder person, but this is what I'm going to be doing. So I'm just showing you here kind of some strays that I have that I'm just going to clean up so you can see how I do that. And I start by brushing the brows up, and then I'll go in with my tweezers and begin just kind of picking any kind of strays that I see, anything that's out of the line of the shape of my brows. So just going in, and one tip too, if you pluck your brows right after you take a shower or right after you wash your face, it's going to be a lot easier and a lot less painful. So just a little tip for you. Probably hear my computer right now. And other side. My brows are obviously uneven. Oh, here's a little crazy one that I'm going to pluck out. Sometimes you'll get those that they just don't go in even with brow gel, so I usually just take them out. And then at the end here, I've got, like above the brows, you want to just kind of clean up any dark ones you have, but you shouldn't have to pluck a lot of those hairs there. And then you just want to make sure that you don't have any long ones that extend too far. I ended up plucking that one later. Alright, so here I'm going to start showing you more of a kind of that shape I was talking about. So I'm just kind of going in and taking out those hairs, and you can see I kind of pulled that one down first to check and see what it would look like. So I'm just going to continue doing that. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I was like, oh, what the heck. I always blow off my tweezers in the midst of my plucking process because there's hairs on there. Alright, I'm going to continue cleaning and shaping this, just kind of pulling out a few to make both sides even. And a few more. One thing I forgot to mention is it's very important to have good lighting. Either go in front of a bright window, or one thing I like to do is kind of stand over my desk lamp. Like I have just a regular lamp, just stand over it like at night, and then use a mirror, and you'll be amazed at how many hairs you can see. Okay, so here I'm going to start trimming. So I just brushed my brows up, and then I'm just trimming the tops, and I'm saying to make sure that you don't actually cut the hair at the roots, because I've done that before and it took a little while to grow out. But yeah, so a lot of times I'll do it with two hands, and it makes it easier to kind of hold the brows up with the spoolie and then trim at the same time. But you have to be really careful because you don't want to cut too much off, or else your brows are going to be obviously more thin. I like having those extra hairs there to kind of brush down with the gel. So as you can see, there's some pretty long ones in there. Okay, so here's the gel part. Just basic, same thing. I'm just brushing upwards. I just take it through once, pretty lightly, with each brow. I don't double dip with the wand there. So I brush through once, and then I go back and I straighten them out. So I just kind of get them into that shape that I want. So I don't end up getting way too much gel on there. It tends to look a little bit kind of hairspray-y, but once it dries, you can kind of wiggle your brows up and down like that, and it will kind of break it up, and it will look great. So that's all I got for you guys, and hopefully that helped you. I will see you soon. Bye!